Okay, Christmas is now behind us, and it's time to look ahead to the weather into New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannin dug into that data of the history of New Year's Eve in Austin.
Yeah, a lot of people trying to think, all right, now one holiday's done. What do we do in New Year's Eve? What are we doing New Year's Day? I'm going to sort of break down some of the extremes we've had on the date, as well as what we're expecting here for this up and coming New Year's Eve. And look at those fireworks, getting ready for those, right? All right, so what is typical for New Year's Eve day here in Central Texas? Our average high is 62 in Austin. Our average low is 42. The hottest New Year's Eve we've ever had, we got to 83 on that day in 2021, and also back in 1951. The coldest New Year's Eve we've ever had, our low temperature was 19 back in 1983. The wettest ever was 2.39 inches in the New Year's Eve of 1978. But what are we looking at for this coming New Year's Eve and New Year's Day? So perhaps the midnight temperature is the most important one for your New Year's Eve night if you're going to be out and about trying to celebrate and ring in the new year. We're expecting temperatures will be around 50 New Year's Eve night at midnight before dropping into the low 40s the morning of New Year's Day, and then recovering to 67 here in the afternoon. A lot of clouds, a little sun New Year's Day, but it is looking rather quiet. Of course, much cooler than your Christmas Day and Christmas Eve was, but still pretty close to average here for this time of year. By the way, on KXAN.com, we've got all the weather information and weather data you need to know. In fact, our own Christopher Adams compiles 2025's Austin area weather data throughout the year. And of course, very soon we'll be turning it on to 2026 and getting you set for that as well. All right, very warm day here for us today. In fact, we're awaiting the official high from Austin's Camp Mabry, but anything over 84 would be a record high, and it's very possible that we have broken the record already. Just waiting for those final numbers here within the next hour, and we'll bring them to you. But plenty of sunshine today, combined with that persistently warm and humid wind, allow temperatures to just jump. Not much in the way of clouds here, not just here locally, but statewide. That was another reason we were so much warmer here today. Those low clouds of the morning were able to scour out very quickly. We do expect that some low clouds and patches of fog will be back here by tomorrow morning. And I expect that the clouds tomorrow morning may hang on a little bit longer than they did this morning. But still, as we approach late morning and midday, we expect increasing sun. Should give way to a reasonably bright Saturday afternoon. So another warm one with temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. And then as we go into Saturday night and Sunday morning, the low clouds come back before gradually giving way to increasing sun as we get into Sunday afternoon. So Saturday, slightly later sun than today. I expect the clouds on Sunday hang on a little bit longer still, but still you'll end up with some bright sky later on. And then things get much more interesting either side of midnight into Monday morning, as a very strong cold front brings some scattered showers and isolated storms to the area, and a huge temperature drop with it. The rain is almost the least of our concerns. So tonight, increasing clouds, patchy fog down in the mid-60s. There'll be some 50s in the hill country, but most of us don't drop out of the 60s here tonight. And our highs tomorrow slightly lower than today because of the clouds hanging on just a little longer. But still, it does not mean cold. It just means low 80s instead of mid-80s for many of us, and some of us in the upper 70s. So we'll go 81 Saturday, 79 Sunday, clouds to sun both days. And then Sunday night, really late in the night, some rain, wind, and cold coming with our next cold front. In fact, look at the high temperatures that we're expecting on Monday behind that late Sunday night cold front. Highs only in the 40s. I think technically we'll be warmer than this at about midnight, but during the daytime hours, this is about as warm as it's going to get. And then our next freeze appears to happen Tuesday morning, a fairly widespread freeze, 32 or below from I-35 and west. There may be a few spots in our eastern counties that don't quite get there. But that is a big temperature drop from 79 to 49, a 30-degree afternoon high temperature drop. But there is that chance of rain in the middle of the night, first few hours of Monday morning. That's our only real chance of rain here for the next week, and then things gradually warming up as we head into 2026.